It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero War Central. This video is going to be about how to build your heroes and then by extension your team, especially if you're on a budget. A lot of us don't have hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars to throw at this game, and I wouldn't even recommend that you do that if you did have that kind of money. But a lot of questions come to me about which heroes to build first, what stats to build first, how do I level up, which artifacts to level up here and there. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about this since I haven't really talked about it in a while. So let's take a look at my Kark here. Kark is my favorite hero in all of Hero Wars, and he's a physical attacking hero. There is a nice stat priority guide located over on HeroWarCentral.com. It's a nice generic, this is going to cover most heroes kind of situation. I have it linked in the description box down below. It's not a hard and fast rule for every single hero, but it is a generally accepted kind of guide for leveling up your heroes and then by extension the rest of your team. But with that in mind, and please go reference that throughout this video, I want to discuss the things that you should be investing in and why. So Kark here, we have a number of things. Let's actually switch over to a physical attack hero that I haven't touched. Fox, for example. So taking a look at Fox's skills, her ultimate is an attack that's modified by physical attack. Her green ability is not modified by any stat. It's just a modification of a skill. The blue skill is an attack that's modified by physical attack. And the violet skill, again, is not modified by anything, but it does modify an existing skill in heavy caliber. So with a hero like this, if you're building Fox in your team, and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, Fox is, a decent hero. And while I'm using the Facebook display here, while I'm using the Facebook version of the game for this discussion, this conversation will work for mobile as well as browser. If you're building up Fox and you're trying to decide between spending gold on Fox's skills, which of Fox's skills to build, versus I don't know, your healer or your support, let's just say Anvari. So you're looking at Anvari here, and you can see that some of his skills are also modified by physical attack, right? But some of them are not. The ones that are not modified by a stat, these are going to be affected by the actual skill level. So you can see here, while Anvari is alive, he protects himself and the nearest ally from displacement and knock-up effects, prioritizing the ally in front of him. It's actually the allies behind him on Hero Wars Mobile. But you can see the little white line of text there. Chance to block a displacement or knock-up effect, is lowered if the target's level is above level 21. So at max level, this will guarantee block, movement, and displacement effects. This skill takes a higher priority for leveling up than this skill does, right? This skill right here being modified by 110% physical attack, that is going to be better improved by leveling up glyphs, artifacts, gift of the elements to an extent, and your skins. So if you're trying to make a decision between which hero that you should level up, which hero's skills, I should say, should you level up first, I would choose the skills that do not have a physical or magic or health attack modifier to it. You can see going back to Fox here, this skill has a physical attack modifier, 150% of Fox's physical attack plus 100, whereas the green and violet ability has no modifier. The ability is based on the level of the skill itself. Those skills should take a slightly higher priority for your gold when you're considering where to spend your gold on skills. Now, when it comes to the skins and glyphs, I like to loop these together, skins and glyphs. The first thing that I'm going to say to you is you need to focus on a single skin per hero, all right? Focus on one skin per hero. The reason for that is you're going to get significantly less skin stones, way less skin stones than you will runes to level up your glyphs. Artifacts is a similar story to the skin stones, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Skins on Fox, you need to take a look at what you're using Fox for. Are you using her for a damage dealer? Are you using her for control? The most efficient skin to level up for every hero is always going to be that primary default skin. It gives you that main gives you that main stat for that hero. But physical attack, health, armor penetration, all three good choices. If you take a look at my stat priority guide, just a blanket statement, if you're using Fox as a damage dealer, then armor penetration is the way to go. But if you're using her as more of a support, then I would probably recommend health, because she does have a lot of support skills. This is, again, we're just using Fox as an example here. You can take this, you can extrapolate this with Artemis or Heidi, you know, anybody else really. Darkstar has an event right now on Hero Wars Mobile. So you need to focus on one skin at a time, but consider that this is an agility hero. You might have strength heroes as well as intelligence-based heroes, and you can work on one skill for each of these three heroes. One for an intelligence hero, one for an agility hero, and one for a strength-based hero. But going back to Fox here, maybe Fox is temporary. Maybe Fox isn't the plan long-term. Maybe you're just using Fox until you get somebody else. Maybe you're trying to summon Ching Mao from the Outland shop, and you're going to use Ching Mao in your Kira team or whatever instead of Fox. But they perform a similar function. If your plan is to eventually replace Fox or whatever hero with another hero, please absolutely do not waste, and I'm saying this with a very strong tone, guys, this is a waste of skin stones to put any into Fox's skins if you plan to replace her with somebody else, okay? If you plan on replacing her with anybody else, you should actually consider not investing anything into her, just the bare minimum to get by until you get access to that, even if it's weeks or months away from getting that hero. I know you might be in the short term suffering, but in the long term, you will be much, much better off. Let's say that you plan on keeping Fox in. Hypothetically, let's say you're planning on keeping Fox in your main team. When we take a look at Glyphs, you get runes from your guild activity every single day. You're going to get a lot more runes and therefore a lot more opportunity to level up your glyphs than you will skins or artifacts. All right, so it's okay to spend on multiple glyphs at once. You can see here that she's got a physical attack glyph, an armor glyph, armor penetration, critical hit, and agility. You know, take a look at the stat priority. You know, Fox is a little different from some of the other physical attacking heroes because of her artifact weapon, which we'll talk about in a second. But runes being a much more abundant resource than skin stones and artifact coins and artifact fragments, you can level up a couple of these and you'll be okay. In the long run, it won't really affect you that much. And of course, if you plan on playing this game for months or years, like I do, then you know you'll eventually have all 5 of these maxed out anyway. If you plan on having Fox in your main team, but follow the generally expected stat priority. And in this case, I like armor penetration, critical hit, physical attack, agility, and then armor very last. That would be kind of the suggested level up for this. But consider, since you have to share your runes across all heroes, then you should probably focus your runes on a single hero instead of spreading them out across multiple heroes. So when it comes to leveling up your glyphs, kind of expanding on that, you want to level up your tank first. In my opinion, you want to make your tank as robust and strong as possible. So invest the bulk of your resources into your tank, then your primary damage dealer, and then your supports. But with that being said, what you could do, and what I do personally, I like to level up my tank's armor glyph and skin first, right? The Christmas tree skin here for Chava. I like to level up the armor stat on my tanks first. Maybe invest a little bit in health and magic defense, but you could then, after you get a good amount of armor, once your tank is kind of staying alive, maybe your tank isn't the first person to die, then you can start throwing some runes on another hero like Fox. And a lot of people are going to ask me, Charlie, should I throw a small couple of runes on another hero in order to satisfy that daily quest, the quest where it's like, level up 1 rune? Actually, no. The quest itself, the daily quest where it asks you to level up 1 glyph, it's not saying to get a full level. It's just saying to invest a single rune, a single point, not one of the violet ones or the green ones or the gray ones, just a single point, any of them, into any glyphs for any hero will satisfy that daily quest. So in my opinion, even then, you should be spending the runes on your tank, then damage dealer, and then your supports in that order. And that's just, again, that's just my opinion. That's my suggested priority. So let's recap. Focus on 1 skin per primary stat, strength, agility, and intelligence for 3 separate heroes. As you get skin stones, focus on a single skin for those 3. Only invest skin stones on heroes you plan to use long term. When it comes to artifacts, this is a little bit more fluid based on your team. More so than your skins. Of course, the skin stones, like I said, strength, agility, and intelligence, separate those 3 and level up 3 separate skins at once. When it comes to artifacts, this is going to be a case-by-case basis that I really can't answer in this video. And for that, I would really suggest you join one of the many resources that are out there for you There is the Hero Wars Central Discord, my Discord, links in the description box down below. There's a Reddit, there's a bunch of Facebook pages, there's an unofficial Hero Wars Mobile Facebook page and Discord that's just completely amazing. And I'll link at the end of this video a resource video where you can go and you can find links to all of my favorite places to go look up information. Join those different communities, Reddit, Discord, Facebook, whatever. Join those communities, ask questions. What do you think is the best artifact leveling priority for this team? And then put it out there. Be very kind and cordial about it. You'll be surprised how often people will be able to help you out. You can even tag me, and I'll be happy to jump in and help you. It's just too difficult to really explain the nuances of artifact leveling in a single video, because while you may hate Chaba, I might love Chaba. Your choice of supports for Chaba would be different from mine. Your choice of damage dealers for a Chaba tank might be different from mine. So it's really hard for me to just make a blanket statement. But generally speaking, with tanks, I like to focus all of the book artifact resources into my tank first. Okay, then my damage dealer, because typically a damage dealer has the penetration and attack stat for their book. And I like to get all heroes' primary artifact weapon here to at least 3 stars, so it gets to 100%. I like to focus on the tank's artifact weapon first. If it's armor, if it's magic defense, or something else. Well, if it's Aurora's dodge, I would focus on that as well. So I like to focus, I guess I really like to focus on tanks. I think I just prefer to focus on tanks a lot. I think tanks are probably the single most impactful hero in any given team, or whoever is in the very first position, because they take the brunt of the damage, and they usually ult first. So I like to focus on the book and the artifact weapon of the tank first. The ring, I guess, doesn't really matter as much, because tanks typically don't get that much out of the ring. Just getting the extra health is nice, but in the long run is when you need it. In the short term, not really. In the short term, it's better to have more armor or dodge in Aurora's case. So again, I say, and I'm going to reiterate this as often as I can, I want to give a shout out to Assassin for giving me the heads up that I'm not saying this nearly enough. Please, guys, do not spend resources on a hero that you don't plan to invest in long term. Do not level up your Fox at all, skins, glyphs, artifacts, skills, unless you're planning on using Fox long term. Those 4 resources and their tertiary resources, gold, skin stones, runes for your glyphs, artifact coins, and artifact fragments for the artifacts, those are so hard to come by. It seems like they're not, but they're so hard to come by that you've got to be incredibly mindful of how and where you're placing your resources. Please join my Discord, or one of the many communities that we mentioned earlier on in this video. Let us chat with you about your teams. I'm not saying that I'm the best team builder. I'm far from it, especially on mobile. I'm more of a browser kind of guy. But if you're curious about teams, there are so many great players out there. And I do not build Fox. I do not build Chaba or Anvari in this instance. But if you want to talk about a Kark team, I know as much as anybody about Kark teams, okay? There's some great people in our community that knows everything there is to know about Fox, about the twins, about Satori, about Kira blenders, about Artemis blenders. There's so many varied opinions. Different people have leveled up different teams. That is what you need to do. So on screen now, as promised, I have the link to that resource video. Please go check it out. There are a bunch of links in the description of that video on how to find all of the preferred Hero Wars Central resources. These are the places that I visit every single day and ask questions and answer questions in every single day. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.